There is a place in Central Asia where the desert itself is on fire. Not a wildfire. A pit, 70 meters wide, filled wall to wall with thousands of flames that have burned day and night for as long as anyone can remember. Locals call it the door to hell. 2 presidents have ordered it extinguished. Exactly 1 human being has stood at the bottom. And here's the part that this is the Karakum, the black sand desert, which covers most of Turkmenistan. It is one of the emptiest landscapes on the planet, and near a tiny settlement called Darvaza, a name that literally means the gate, the emptiness breaks open. A crater roughly 70 meters across and about 30 meters deep, its floor and walls studded with fire. The heat hits you from the rim. At night, the glow is visible from kilometers away, a false sunrise in the middle of nowhere. The government's official name for it is the Shining of the Karakum. Everyone else calls it the door to hell, and the few travelers who make it here camp beside it like a natural wonder. It isn't. Humans make. Here is the version you'll find repeated in 1,000 articles. In 1971, Soviet geologists were drilling in the Karakum, hunting for oil and gas. Their rig punched into a hidden cavern. A pocket of natural gas beneath a thin roof of rock. And the ground gave way. The equipment vanished into the collapse. Nobody, in this telling, was killed. But the crater left behind began leaking methane, invisible, unbreathable, and dangerous. So the geologists made a call that became one of history's great engineering miscalculations. They lit it. Burn off the gas, they reasoned, and the leak would exhaust itself within a few weeks. That was supposedly more than 50 years ago. The fire has not gone out. It's a perfect story. The Soviet machine drilling into the desert and accidentally lighting a flame it couldn't put out. Search for the drilling report, the rig's records, the names of the geologists, and you find nothing. The Soviet archives that could settle it are closed, scattered, or simply lost. And the country that inherited the crater is one of the hardest places on Earth to check anything. Turkmenistan is among the least visited nations in the world. An isolated state that issues a trickle of tourist visas and controls information from a capital of white marble and golden statues. This is a country whose former president once shut down rumors of his own death by driving donuts around this very crater on state television. And when researchers finally reached local experts, the story cracked. Turkmen geologists have said the collapse didn't happen in 1971 at all. That the crater may have formed back in the 1960s, and stood dark and hissing for years, not lit until sometime in the 1980s. The world's most famous fire has no birth certificate. If the paper trail In November 2013, a Canadian explorer named George Kourounis stood on the rim wearing a suit built like a spacesuit. Aluminized, heat-reflective, with its own breathing air. Hanging from a Kevlar harness, because ordinary climbing gear could fail in that heat. Backed by National Geographic, he rappelled 30 meters to the crater floor. The first and, to this day, the only person ever to stand at the bottom of the door to hell. He described it as being inside a coliseum of fire, flames everywhere he looked. He wasn't there for the spectacle. He was there to scoop up soil. And in those samples, scientists found something remarkable: extremophile bacteria. Alive, at the bottom of a burning crater, in hot, methane-soaked ground. Including microbes not found in the desert soil outside. Life, thriving inside a fire that never stops. If something can live here, life could survive on far harsher worlds than ours. The crater had finally given up one secret. In 2010, Turkmenistan's president visited the crater and ordered it dealt with. Nothing changed. In January 2022, he tried again. A direct instruction to find a way to put the fire out. The reasons were practical: the crater burns money, venting off natural gas the country would rather sell, and it leaks methane, a powerful greenhouse gas. This time, engineers didn't attack the flames. They attacked the fuel. Drilling wells around the crater to capture the gas before it ever reaches the fire. And it's working. By 2024, officials reported the blaze had shrunk to a fraction of its former size, and visitors described thinner flames, dimmer light, patches of bare rock where fire used to be. And that's the twist buried in this story. For half a century, this fire's nickname was a lie in both directions. It isn't a door to hell, and it was never eternal. It was always a wound, slowly running out of blood. But when the last flame dies, something else dies with it. A burning crater is a global spectacle. The kind of mystery that drags journalists, scientists, and explorers into one of the most closed countries on Earth, all asking the same question: who lit this, and when? A cold, dead hole in the desert drags no one. The searching stops. Which leaves the door to hell with a strange legacy. We will know the moment this fire dies. Down to the day, the hour, the minute. But unless a lost Soviet file surfaces first, we will never know the moment it was born. The most famous fire on Earth is about